K-pop lovers, and welcome back to K-pop Update, your home for the most touching, inspiring, and surprising stories from the world of Korean entertainment. Just imagine, for a moment, being someone who is loved by millions. Not just liked, not merely admired, but truly loved, adored, and placed so high in the hearts of many that reality itself feels too distant to touch. To become the center of the world's attention, to walk on stage with the roar of voices screaming your name, receiving gifts, love, and support in unimaginable amounts. A life like that sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But behind every grand dream, there is always a shadow. And behind every bright light, there are always dark corners untouched by public eyes. That is what now surrounds the life of Kim Taehyung, better known as V from BTS. Taehyung is not just another name on the long list of K-pop idols. He is a face that radiates natural charisma, a man whose gaze can speak more than 1,000 words. He doesn't say much, but when he smiles, the world seems to pause for a moment. Since his debut with BTS, his charm has stood out, not because he tried to stand out, but because there is something in him so different, so pure, so deeply human. Fans, lovingly called ARMY, have seen this from the beginning. They saw his gentle side, his playful side, his odd side, and his poetic soul, parts that together make up the essence of V. They didn't fall for him because of promotions or agency-crafted concepts, but because they felt something real. They felt that Taehyung was someone who existed not just on screens, but also in their hearts. And that love grew. It kept growing, until it finally surpassed boundaries that no one had ever imagined. However, amid this vast ocean of love, an unexpected unease began to arise. HYBE, the major agency that raised BTS into a global legend, started to seem unsettled. Rumors began to swirl that HYBE wasn't pleased with the overwhelming spotlight on one member, that they felt the extraordinary love Taehyung received might disrupt the team's balance, that such intense attention posed a threat to the structure they had carefully built over the years. To the general public, this might sound strange. Why would an agency be worried about the success of its own artist? But to those who know the inner workings of the South Korean entertainment industry, this is a familiar conflict. In an industry where groups are presented as balanced collectives, the overexposure of a single member is seen as a risk to group harmony. And in the case of BTS, a group long celebrated for its unity and equality among members, the emergence of one particularly bright star is viewed as a potential imbalance. HYBE is no ordinary agency. It is a giant, and as a giant, it doesn't just build artists, it builds narratives. The narrative that BTS is one united entity. No one above the rest, no one below. Every member has the same role, receives the same love, and shines with equal brilliance. But reality doesn't always follow the script. The world chooses to love differently. And in many ways, the world has chosen to love Taehyung in a special way. This affection was not the result of a grand campaign. There was no special project pushed by the agency to make V more popular than the rest. He simply became himself. He spoke when he wanted to speak. He sang with a voice filled with emotion. He dressed in a unique style that blends classic with contemporary. He wrote, painted, and shared his thoughts in digital journals. And all of this, unintentionally, made him even more beloved. Fans saw themselves in Taehyung. They saw the struggle to be oneself in a world that constantly pressures people to be someone else. They saw sincerity that's rare in an industry that often values image over authenticity. And that love kept flowing. It became a massive wave that swept across the globe. Taehyung became more than an idol. He became a symbol. But behind all of this came tension. Subtle, yet sharp tension. Tension between fan love and agency strategy. HYBE began to tighten control, limiting individual exposure, crafting scenarios to maintain balanced attention. Some of his solo projects felt delayed. Some personal agendas felt adjusted. And though there was never an official statement, fans, who had been with BTS from day one, could feel something had changed. They weren't just fans. They were living witnesses to BTS's journey. They saw how 7 boys grew from naive trainees into They voiced their discontent. They defended Taehyung with love, with support, with grand projects done independently from the agency. Billboard ads, donations in his name, global birthday events, all done not because they were told to, but because of love. Of course, Taehyung himself never addressed this directly. He remained professional. He kept smiling. He continued showing love to his fans and fellow members. But in the way he spoke, in his poetry, in his solo music, in the way he looked at the camera, there was a feeling that couldn't be ignored. As if he had something to say, but chose to keep it in his heart. He wrote songs about loneliness, about freedom, about complicated love. He called himself a layover, as if saying that he was on a long journey, not the final destination, but a stop to find direction. And the fans listened. They listened not only with their ears, but with their hearts. They knew that behind all the achievements, Taehyung was fighting to remain himself in a world that often tries to mold him into something else. This phenomenon opens a larger conversation about how the industry treats its artists, about the right of artists to express themselves without fear, about the line between strategy and restriction. Must an artist always sacrifice individuality for the team? Or can one shine without dimming others? Taehyung is a living example of these questions. He never asked for more, but the world gave him more. And now, he must live with the consequences, both good and bad. He has become a global icon. He's the face of luxury brands. He's an inspiration to millions of young people. But he has also become the center of a complicated dynamic between agency and fandom. And through it all, he only wants one thing: to be himself. ARMY knows this. They feel it. And that is why they never stop loving him. No matter the pressure, no matter the restrictions, they remain. Because their love is not about strategy. Their love is about courage. The courage to love someone for who they are, not for how popular they are. The world is changing. K-pop is no longer just about uniform, controlled groups. The world demands honesty. The world craves real stories. And Taehyung is at the forefront of this change. He doesn't shout for revolution, but his presence alone is the quietest and strongest act of defiance. And though HYBE may still be figuring out the best way to steer BTS's future, they must realize one thing: genuine love cannot be controlled. It grows on its own. It finds its own path. And in Taehyung's case, that love has surpassed any boundary strategy could ever define. In the end, this story isn't just about Taehyung. It's about every artist who's ever felt forced to choose between popularity and honesty. It's about every fan who's ever felt their love was too much to be accepted. It's about the courage to remain true to oneself, even when the world tries to change you. Taehyung, with all his calmness, has shown he is not afraid. He keeps walking forward. He keeps singing. He keeps loving. And with every small step, he is paving the way for a more honest, fair, and humane future for K-pop. In his silence, there is strength. In his gaze, there is a story. And in his love for his fans, there is a promise that as long as he is here, he will remain Kim Taehyung, the boy from Daegu who loves art, music, and the people who have loved him more than he could have ever imagined. And when the history of K-pop is rewritten someday, Taehyung will not just be remembered as a member of BTS. He will be remembered as a symbol of honesty, sincerity, and gentle strength that changed the world without needing to shout. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest news from the world of K-pop and BTS. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss out on another exciting update. See you in the next video, and keep supporting your idols